Community worker Shalina Litt now, who also wears a niqab and joins us from Birmingham. Good morning to you. Explain for us, first of all, why you've chosen to wear the niqab.
It's really hard to explain how I arrived at that. It took me a good couple of years to arrive at that understanding. And I always say that if I gave you an answer, it's like me showing you a drawing of an apple. Unless you've held the apple, unless you've eaten the apple, you're not going to understand it. But it's definitely a built-upon experience. I developed a relationship and built a relationship with my Lord that commanded me to do it. And that's why I wear it today.
But it's not an absolute requirement of Islam, is it?
Some scholars feel that it is, and there are some scholars that say it's optional and there's no sin upon you if you remove it. But I think what the problem is that why are we debating this? This is something that people who have a religious understanding work towards. And I think if we're not people that are religiously motivated, what we have to look at is educating people about differences.
Do you understand, though, how it might be slightly strange to someone who is holding a conversation with you and they can't tell whether you're happy, whether you're sad, they're unable to read your facial expressions?
Absolutely, but I think what we have to go back to is that point of when do we favour someone who feels uncomfortable about something? There are some people who dress out of the norm. So, for example, goths, are we going to ask them to stop dressing the way that they want to? This is about us learning and educating other people about accepting people's differences. I do acknowledge the fact that it may make people feel uncomfortable, and I choose to remove it in certain settings because I acknowledge that my niqab loses its function.
But if you acknowledge that in certain settings it might be uncomfortable for others, then what's the point of wearing it the rest of the time?
It's down to my interpretation, isn't it? I mean, for me, it has a place, so where I'm in an abundance of an area where people can understand it. So, for example, I might go to an affluent area, where people welcome differences and they don't interfere with, the way that you're dressed and what. If I think my safety and the people around me are not going to be affected, then that's how I wear the veil. But that's my interpretation, and I think different people have different understandings of this. And what I think we have to go back to is educating people, because if you're going to ask me to remove this, then you're being as bad as the oppressors that force people to wear the veil. And
are you happy equally for women who decide to wear short skirts and stiletto heels?
Absolutely, because that's what this is about.
But in a blog, in one of your blogs, if I'm correct in thinking, you've written, if women have high regard for how they look, they're setting themselves up for a fall.
Right, that blog in particular was Protect Me From Myself, and I was trying to present an argument on, obviously, the understanding of why I would choose to get to that position. I am not degrading any woman that chooses to cover or dress less as I do more. I was once somebody who wasn't practicing Islam. I'm saying that it's an evolved understanding. I'm not making no judgment about a woman who dresses less.
Shalina Litt, thank you very much for your views this morning.
Thank you.